Good morning, everybody. Welcome to GradeUp's MBA channel. So, GradeUp has started one series of understanding the MBA examinations. So, there are multiple MBA entrance examinations that are conducted in India, and in this series, we'll be discussing each of these examinations and knowing how they are different from one another. Okay, to start with, we are starting with CAT. So in this session, we'll be discussing about CAT, what is CAT, what are its features, what is its examination pattern, when it is conducted, what are the top colleges that you could get into through CAT, etc. and some preparation strategies. So if you are yet to subscribe to our channel, please do subscribe to our channel to get notifications on all the examinations, all MBA related examination related information. Okay, so we keep uploading videos on MBA preparation, so please do subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon to get all those notifications. So before I begin, let me introduce myself to all of you. My name is Pranav Pant and I am an MBA from FMS Delhi, which is one of the top B schools in the country. I am a consistent 99 percentiler in CAT. I have taken CAT 6 times and scored 99 percentile in all, above 99 percentile in all the attempts. And I have secured 99.9 plus percentile in both quantitative ability and DILR sections on multiple occasions. So these two are my forte, and these are some of my top scores. The most recent one being CAT 2019, where I scored 99.96 percentile. I took first CAT in 2013, where I had scored 99.93. Apart from CAT, I've also taken some other MBA examinations, and these are my scores. And MAT MA at CET, where I was ranked 2 among 70,000 aspirants. And I also took MAT, which is one of the examinations, and I secured 99.9 percentile. Okay, and if you have any queries related to MBA preparation, you can reach out to me on this mail ID. And this is my official mail ID. You can reach out to me for any preparation related stuff. So this is my CAT 2019 scorecard. Okay, so this was my best ever performance at CAT, in which I secured 99.96 percentile. So now let's start talking about the examination. What is CAT? What are its features? How is the examination pattern? What are its top colleges, etc. So as you know that CAT is the biggest MBA examination in India. Okay, it is taken by approximately 2 lakh candidates every year. So last year it was 2.1 lakh. So the number of test takers ranges from 1.8 to 2.4 lakh. So approximately 2 lakh people appear for the examination every year. It is conducted by IIMs, Indian Institute of Management. CAT 2019 was conducted by IIM Kozhikode. So CAT is for admission into top IIMs. I mean all the IIMs, even the new IIMs, you get admission through CAT itself. Apart from IIMs, there are certain other top B schools in the country that accept CAT scores. Okay, so some of them being FMS, MDI, NITI, SPGen. So these are some of the top B schools, I should say among the top 20 in the country that accept CAT score for admission into these into their colleges. Apart from them, there are several other schools as well, like the IITs, IIT Ghaziabad, IIMI Delhi, and some others B schools that rank in top 50. Now, many of you have a query: what is the eligibility criteria for CAT? So, for CAT, you have to be a graduate in any stream. You can be an engineer, you can be a graduate from humanities stream, you can be a graduate from medical science or anything else. You can be a BA or a BSc or anything, that does not matter. Okay, so you have to be a graduate in any stream, be it a 3-year graduation or 4-year graduation, that does not matter. Apart from that, there is no upper limit in the number of attempts or age of candidates. Okay, so you can attempt the examination any number of times. There are some senior faculty members who have taken CAT 20 or even probably more number of times. Okay, and there is no restriction in the age limit as well. So Sanket, MHCT and CAT are different. Okay, so in this session we are going to discuss about CAT. We'll have a session on MHCT as well. So in which we will discuss about MHCT, its examination pattern and all those stuff. Now talking about the CAT timeline, when does the exam happen and all those. So the notification is released generally in the last week of July, mid of July to last week of July. The online applications begin in the month of August and they are up to September, mid-September or maybe to the third week of September. The application fee last year, the latest application fee which was applicable in CAT 2019 is 1900. Date of examination, it is generally conducted on the 3rd or 4th Sunday of November and the result is declared in the first or second week of Jan. So these are the timelines. So if you are preparing for CAT, you should know that this is going to happen in November. It happened in November last year and last year. It may happen in October as well, or maybe it might happen in December. But generally, this is the timeline. It is conducted in November every year, and then once the result is declared, okay, the IIMs conduct the GDPI. Okay, so CAT is not sufficient to get admission, then you have to appear for group discussions and personal interviews, and these are conducted in the month of February and March the following year. So for example, like CAT 2019 took place in November, and so the admission for these the GDPI were held in Feb and March 2020. So Neil, please wait for the session on SNAP as well. We'll be covering all MBA examinations. So we'll have a special session on SNAP as well. In that we'll discuss SNAP in detail. Okay, so the way we are discussing CAT today, I'll be discussing SNAP as well. So Pramath has a question that he has almost 5 years of experience. Should he opt for CAT or GMAT? See, Pramath, it depends. Like if you want to go abroad and study, you should go for GMAT. However, in India, I would suggest that please opt for executive MBA. Okay, because executive MBA is more helpful for people with experience more than 4 to 5 years. Okay, so it's better like if you opt for executive MBA, that would be a better option. So now talking about the CAT examination pattern. So this is CAT 2019 pattern. So we have 3 sections: verbal ability and reading comprehension, data interpretation and logical reasoning, and quantitative ability. So the number of questions in these sections are 34, 32 and 34 respectively. The sectional timing is 1 hour each. So we have 100 questions in 3 hours. And this is the order of sections. So first VARC followed by DILR and then QA. So this is the order of sections, and this has been the examination pattern since 2015. Okay, so before 2015 the pattern was different, but this pattern has been followed for the last 5 years from 2015 to 19. We cannot say that this is going to be a pattern for 2020 as well, because it might change, and many a times in the past there has been instances when DI and quantitative ability were clubbed together. So for example, when I appeared in CAT 2019, DI and quant were together and verbal ability and LR were together. So this has been the pattern for the last 5 years from 2015 to 2019. Okay, so Sanket, yes, Sanket, thanks for reminding that. Yeah, the fees for SC, ST, and so this was for general category. Okay, and for SC, ST, and PWD, it was 950. So thanks for the correction. So when we talk about the VARC pattern, so you have in 2019 we had 5 passages. So in even in the other years we have 5 passages. The distribution being 4 passages containing 5 questions each, and the fifth passage with 4 questions. So 24 out of 34 questions are from RC. So it is heavily reading based examination. Okay, you have to read a lot. You have to attempt 24 questions in RCs and 10 in verbal ability. Again, these are parajumble, parasummary, and odd sentence out. Again, these are reading based questions. So all in all, the entire section is reading based. Okay, you don't have to have any knowledge of obviously you have to be grammatically correct in answering the questions, but you don't have they do not test you on grammar or vocabulary. They just test you on reading skills. So this has been the pattern for the last 5 years. Okay, so they will they have 24 questions on RCs and 10 questions on parajumbles, parasummary, and odd sentence out. So all these are reading based questions. Okay, now talking about CAT 2019 DILR section, in the last 5 years, you have 8 sets of 4 questions each. So they give you 8 sets of 4 questions each. So you have to attempt 8 sets, that is like 32 questions, and the time limit is 1 hour. So if I talk about 2019, comparing slot 1 and slot 2. So CAT is conducted in 2 slots, morning slot and this is the evening slot. So those of you who appeared in CAT 2019 can relate to this. They must have appeared in one of the slots and seen these questions. Okay. So this question, crypto arithmetic, if you have subscribed to our channel, you must have seen a video on crypto arithmetic yesterday. Okay, so this crypto arithmetic, this type of question appeared after almost 15 years. Okay, so after almost 15 years, this question appeared in the examination. It used to come in early 2000s, and for almost 15 years, it was not present in any of the CAT examinations. So it came after 15 years. Then we had a question on radar chart, this one on bar graph. So these are 2 pure DI. Okay, then there was a question on items arranged in shelves. So LR question. Then there was prize in box. So there were boxes that contained a total of 100 prizes, some puzzle related to that. Question on direction sense. Matrix puzzle of dancer and composers. And there was a set on games and tournaments. So games and tournaments is an important part of CAT. So you get different types of games and tournament based questions. Okay, so you have certains like win-loss, some point system or some kind of thing. So if you see that in slot 2 as well, there was a set on games and tournament. There were 2 matrix based puzzles, one on doctor patient and one on languages. There were DI sets on radar chart. So radar chart was asked in the first slot as well as the second slot. There was a matrix on teacher and question paper. There was a puzzle on pouch and coins. So there are certain types of puzzles as well. You can classify them. You cannot classify them purely DI or purely LR. So it is a mix of both. So these puzzles contained these are not pure chart based or graph based data interpretation. They are based on some logic. So you can call them logical DI. So even this was a logical DI. And this set was again a logical DI. And then there was scatter chart. So these are pure DI sets, chart based DI sets, scatter chart and radar chart. And there was one Venn diagram caselet. So again, this is a sort of logical data interpretation. So these were the 8 different sets of the 2 slots in CAT 2019. Now, if we talk about the quantitative ability section, we see that it was dominated by arithmetic in both the slots. So in the first slot where there were 13 questions on arithmetic out of 34, in the second slot there were 14 such questions. Okay, then it was followed by geometry and algebra. So you can see that 27 here and again 27 here. Okay, so almost 80% of the paper consists of these three portions: arithmetic, geometry, mensuration and algebra. So geometry and mensuration also includes your coordinate geometry, heights and distances, trigonometry. All these are covered under geometry and mensuration. So these three sections dominate the quantitative ability section. Okay, however, while preparation, it has been noticed that people focus more on number system and modern math. So modern math includes your permutation, combination, probability and your progressions. Okay, so all these topics come under modern math. So while preparing for the examinations, people pay more attention to these two. But if you look at the pattern for the last year, and even if you see for the previous years as well, these sections have not been dominating the quant section. And if we talk about modern math, especially your permutation, combinations and probability and progressions. So if you talk about permutation and combination questions, they were not present for about 4 to 5 years, and then they returned in 2018. Okay, so one big mistake that people make while preparing for this examination is they focus too much on number system and modern math. Okay, so I would advise them, the aspirants, that please focus on arithmetic, algebra, geometry and mensuration. I know these topics are also important, but do not over attend these questions. You find these questions interesting. You find it interesting to solve the questions involving last digits. You want to find the number of arrangements and all those. That's fine, but you have to pay attention to these three sections as well. Okay. A log comes under it comes under algebra. So logarithms come under algebra section. So one important thing that people talk about is CAT percentile. So what is CAT percentile? Okay, so some of the examinations give percentile. So what is percentile score? It is a relative score. So if I say 99 percentile, it means that 99% of the candidates who appeared in the examination scored below the person. Okay, so like many students ask that what should be the score to achieve this percentile. Now this is with respect to CAT 2019, so you should not follow this, but it's just for your information that out of 300, out of a total score of 300, the 99.99 percentile was achieved at 225. So the one above 225, they scored 100 percentile. Okay, so 99.99, that is almost 100, it was at 225. I scored 212 and I stood at 99.96 percentile. Okay, so 99.99 and 99.9 percentile. This is for like IIMs A, B and C. Getting calls from IIMs A, B and C for general engineer male. So there is a category called general engineer male. Those who have not had stellar academics, but if they manage to score 99.9 plus, they have a chance to get call from at least from C, definitely from C, but if they have good acads, they can also get from A and B. So 99.9 percentile stood at 198, 99.7 at 179. So this is again for top IIMs. This is for old IIMs. Okay, so if you are a general engineer male and targeting old IIMs, okay. So this was the percentile, and similarly 99 percentile, which people consider as a landmark, was at 158 for many good B schools. Again 98 for some of the good B schools at 143. Then you have at I would say for tier 2 colleges 95 percentile at 119. So you can see that managing just 40% marks, just getting 40% marks in the examination can fetch you 95 percentile. Okay, and this paper was moderately difficult. It wasn't that easy, not too difficult. So it was a moderately difficult paper, and if one could get 40% marks, he or she could get 95 percentile. Okay, So if you want to see the percentile score versus percentile of sections, okay, so these were the percentile scores. So many IIMs have cut off at 90 percentile per section, or some have at 80, or some at 85. So it depends, like every IIM has a different criteria. So you can check the respective criteria on their websites. So that is the minimum cutoff that one should get in a particular section, and that cutoff does not mean that in every section you should get that mark. So that is the minimum one should get in a particular section, and one has to get high scores in the other two sections. So if you can see that, especially for DILR, which is considered as a very tough section, so the 90 percentile is just at 32 marks. So 32 marks means a net of 11 questions, okay, or 3 sets. And if you manage to get 52 marks, that is, if you are able to solve a little over half the section, you get 99 percentile. So you can see the scores for VARC and Quant. The 99 percentile is almost similar, but for DILR it is quite low. So you can understand that how difficult the section has been over the years. Okay, so some of you are bad at verbal. Okay, some of you struggle to score in verbal. So even if you manage to score 40 marks, that's approximately 13 questions, 13 to 14 questions correct, all correct. So you get 90 percentile. So 90 percentile is not a very big score. Okay, and in Quant, like if you manage to get around 11 questions right, 11 to 12 questions, so you can get 90 percentile. So if you are weak at one of the sections, you can target other two sections, score well in those, and just manage to score a little over that particular landmark. Okay, so if you manage to score 90 in one of the sections and say 95 above in the other two sections, you can have a decent score. Okay. Now, what are some features of CAT? What is special about CAT that it is different from other examinations? Okay, some of them may be applicable to other exams as well, but some features of CAT. Firstly, it is conducted in 2 slots. Okay, for the past 5 years, it is conducted in 2 slots. One is the morning slot, and then we have one evening slot, and the scores are normalized. So for example, if slot 1 appears to be slightly difficult, so the normalized scores would be less than, would be decreased, and the scores of this slot would remain the same. Okay, so scores are normalized based on the difficulty level of the respective slots. Okay, so whatever raw score you achieve, so a lot of students have a query that what should be the normalized score. Okay, so it is more or less the same. For example, like I scored 214 as my raw score in my slot 1. My actual scaled score was 212. And my colleague of mine, he scored 196 in slot 2, and his scaled score was 200. So slot 2 was slightly difficult than slot 1, hence the score was scaled, and since slot 1 was slightly easy, the scores were reduced. So normalization takes place in the scores. You have sectional timing of 1 hour each. So this is one of those examinations where you have sectional timing. Okay, you can attempt only one section at a time, and once the sectional time is over, you cannot get back to that section. And the order remains this: verbal RC, followed by DILR, and then followed by quantitative ability. Okay, and then you have RCs from different genres. Okay, so if you look at the RCs of CAT, you get RCs from philosophy, you get RCs from some history, world history, you get RCs from scientific research and all those topics. Okay, so it's not something like it is defined on one topic. You can get an RC on economy, you can get an RC on psychology. Okay, so you have RCs from different genres. So one has to read from multiple sources from across different genres to get better at it. Okay. Then you have challenging DILR. If you look at CAT 2015 and onward, okay, so you see that the DILR section has been challenging. Okay, it has become difficult, and if you see, like 2017 was the most difficult, and 2015, 16, all these years the DILR section has been challenging. Then there is a presence of non-MCQ questions. So again, these all aspects are related to the examination pattern. So out of the 100 questions, about 20 to 30 are non-MCQ, and in these questions you have to type in the answers. So they are also called TETA questions, and there is no negative marking for those questions. For those particular questions, there is no negative marking, so you can take a risk while attempting those questions. So in verbal ability, you have around 7-8 such questions, non-RC questions. Okay. In DILR, you have 2 sets, which are type in answers, and some odd 10 to 12 questions in quant as well. Okay, so you have approximately 25 to 30 questions that are type in questions. They do not have negative marking. Okay, so you can risk solving those questions. And one important thing about CAT is that there is variation in difficulty level every year. Okay, so it's a surprise element. The best part about CAT is it's always a surprise element. You cannot predict any year that what will be the pattern this year or what will be the difficulty level. So if I take an example, like up to 2014 and all, DILR was normal, but suddenly from 2015 the DILR became very difficult. If I talk about CAT 2017, the quant section was very easy. Okay, however in 2018 it again went up, the level went up. And if I talk about the verbal ability section, it was easy. VA was easy from 2015, or I would say 2014 to 18, and then all of a sudden we saw that in 2019 the passages were difficult. Okay, so it is always a surprise element. One of the sections turns out to be, at least one of the sections turns out to be a surprise. So for example, the surprise in 2019 was verbal ability was difficult as compared to the last year. In 2017 we had very easy quant and very difficult DILR. So it's a mixed bag. Okay, so one cannot predict that which section is going to be easy, which is going to be difficult and all. So one has to, while preparation, one has to prepare for everything, be prepared for easy, moderate or difficult section. Now here are certain tips. Being a veteran in this field, I'm taking this exam multiple times. I would like to give you some tips. So first, if you are a fresh candidate, one who is going to appear for the first time, so please solve past year papers. The past year papers are available. If you look at the papers from late 90s to early 2000s, okay, up to 2008, you can get papers online, because that time CAT used to be an offline examination. From 2009 onward, it has gone online. So you can get papers of CAT, and even 2017, 18 and 19, you can get the papers because they released the response keys during these years. So you can get these papers. Please try to solve the past year papers. This will give you an understanding that what is your potential, what is your strong area, what is your weak area. Okay, and solutions to all these papers are also available. So if you solve the papers, this will give you an idea that what you are good at, what is your strength, what is your weakness, in which area you need more preparation, and which area you can do even without much preparation. For VARC, as I told you that it is a reading based section altogether. They don't test you on vocab or grammar. Okay, so please read a lot. Okay, so the only solution is to read, and read across various genres. Please read about history. Okay, so if you notice that they ask you questions on, like, they might give you a a question from any culture. Okay, they might give you some African dynasty, they might give a passage on African dynasty, maybe a passage on Chinese mythology or anything. Okay, so you have to have a practice of reading across different genres. Read about technology, read about sports, read about science, read about psychology, okay, philosophy. So read across different genres. So it is not limited that you would get passages only based on economy or something. You might be given a passage on some psychology, okay, some philosophy of some random country. Okay, practice DI and LR from any source possible. So since DILR is not definite, okay, unlike most of the examinations where you get certain type of DILR, like you might get some graph based DI. It's not necessary that you get graph based DI here. You might get puzzle based DI, logical DI. So whatever sources you can gather from, please practice DI and LR from as many sources, be it like past year papers or from any study material that you have access to. Okay, so practice as many sets as possible and try to minimize your time. So as I told you in the previous slide that if you are able to get close to 52 marks, that was 13 questions. So 52 marks, that was 17, approximately 17 to 18 questions. You can say 4 set plus. So if you are able to solve 4 sets in an hour, you can get 99 percentile. Okay, so please make a practice that you reduce the minimum possible, you reduce the time limit in which you attempt DILR sets. So if you are able to solve a set, say within 15 minutes, okay, you have a good chance that you can get 4 sets correct in the examination. Okay. And again, as I showed you the CAT 2019 pattern, so there are the majority of the questions are from arithmetic, algebra, and geometry. So please focus on these 3 topics, okay, and do not spend too much time on number system and modern math. This is the biggest mistake students make. They prepare so much for these 2 topics, and eventually in the examinations they do not find many questions on these. Okay, so please spend time on all the topics. Okay, so do not focus on only one topic. And if you are going through mock tests, if you take mock tests, it is very important to analyze them, because what happens is taking test is different. Okay, once you take a test and score something, that's good, but it's very important to understand that where you made mistake, where you could have solved the questions better. Okay, so those are the things that you should follow while preparing for CAT. So how many of you are going to write CAT in 2020? If you are preparing for CAT 2020, please comment yes in the video and also mention your number of attempts. So if it is your first attempt, please comment yes with 1. If it is going to be your second attempt, please comment with 2, or and so on. Okay, so if you want more, so we'll be uploading more videos on CAT preparation. Okay, so please subscribe to our channel for more videos on CAT preparation and other examinations. If you are preparing for CAT, so please subscribe to our channel. We'll be coming up with more videos on CAT preparation strategy and other examinations as well. Okay, so please subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to get notifications on all the videos. And if you have any doubts, you can post in the comments. Okay, not here, in the comments of the video, so that we'll analyze the data and see that what all material should be there to what all sessions we should take. And if you have any session in mind, you can tell us. Okay, we'll take sessions on that. Abhijit will start the sessions soon. Okay, so we'll start the sessions very soon. So we are in the process of collecting information that what the audience is looking for, what type of sessions do you want on YouTube, and do you want a course for the same. So please comment in the session, comment in the video if you are appearing for CAT examination in 2020, and do not forget to subscribe to our channel. More videos on CAT preparation and other MBA examination preparation are to follow soon. So stay tuned with gradeup. Thank you for attending the session. Have a great day.